everyone. My name is Giulio Antonelli. I'm an endoscopist from Rome, Italy, and it is my pleasure today to present you our newly accepted article in the Endoscopy journal entitled Endoscopist's Diagnostic Accuracy in Detecting Upper Gastrointestinal Neoplasia in the Framework of Artificial Intelligence Studies. I am happy to have shared as co-authors in this work a very big group of fantastic international experts, which are experts both in artificial intelligence and in upper gastrointestinal endoscopy and upper gastrointestinal cancer. So as you know, upper gastrointestinal cancer is still a big killer throughout the world and accounts for almost 40% of all gastrointestinal cancers and more than 1.5 million deaths every year. This cancer is burdened by high death because it is very difficult to diagnose in an early stage, and we know that the early stage is the only stage in which we can offer curative treatment to our patients and thus long-term survival. So the early diagnosis of this cancer is of crucial importance to help quality of life in our patients. And we know that endoscopists still miss a big quantity of upper gastrointestinal neoplasia because it has a subtle appearance and because compared to the whole community, it has a very low prevalence, and this way we are not well trained to recognize it as compared, for example, to colonic polyps, which we have seen much more and so we recognize much better. You also know that artificial intelligence is now one of the big players, one of the hot topics in gastrointestinal endoscopy, and that it has already been shown that in lower gastrointestinal endoscopy, artificial intelligence can play a major role in helping us detect more neoplasia and improve quality of life of patients and prevent more cancer. We have also shown recently in a meta-analysis that in upper gastrointestinal endoscopy, artificial intelligence performs very well in detecting upper gastrointestinal neoplasia. What we don't know is what is actually the performance of a human endoscopist that does not use artificial intelligence. How do endoscopists perform throughout the world in detecting upper gastrointestinal neoplasia? We only know this by indirect studies that compare the prevalence of neoplasia to the quantity of missed cancers and of newly diagnosed cancers in patients that had already done an endoscopy. So what we thought that could be a good idea was to exploit artificial intelligence studies on machines that have been developed in detecting upper gastrointestinal cancer and use the human endoscopist used as benchmarks to test the validity and the efficacy and the accuracy of the artificial intelligence system, and use and analyze, pooling together all the performance of the human endoscopists that have been used as benchmark in these studies to see how well they recognize upper gastrointestinal neoplasia without the aid of any artificial intelligence system. So to summarize what we did is we extrapolated from all artificial intelligence studies the validation set that is presented both to the machine and to the endoscopist, and we pooled together all the accuracy values of all the endoscopists that have been used as benchmarks against the artificial intelligence system. So we found 8 studies in total, totalizing 122 endoscopists, both from the Western and the Eastern parts of the world, and both expert and non-expert endoscopists. And we have pooled together their accuracy in detecting upper gastrointestinal neoplasia, and we both express the values for all gastrointestinal neoplasia and then also for the single kinds of neoplasia, which are esophageal squamous cell carcinoma, Barrett's esophagus-related neoplasia, and gastric cancer. So we found that the best accuracy was for gastric cancer, in which endoscopists had a 95% accuracy, while for esophageal squamous cell carcinoma, they showed a 90% accuracy, and for Barrett's esophagus-related neoplasia, they showed an 86% accuracy. I will not annoy you with all the single values of sensitivities, and I will just speak about some interesting sub-analysis we did. We showed also that when comparing the accuracy of Eastern and Western endoscopists, Eastern endoscopists showed a much better accuracy in detecting upper gastrointestinal neoplasia, and we could explain this both by an increased prevalence of these neoplasias in the Eastern world, and for the same reason, Eastern endoscopists are much more accustomed and trained to detect this kind of neoplasia. We also compared the accuracy of experts and non-expert endoscopists, and we showed that expert endoscopists showed at least a 15% higher accuracy than non-expert endoscopists. And this is of course an expected result, but calls for a much harder training and maybe for the application of artificial intelligence early in non-expert endoscopists. So in conclusion, I think this study has for the first time highlighted how, in a direct way, has managed to highlight how the endoscopists perform in detecting upper gastrointestinal cancer. And furthermore, this study has shown that the implementation of artificial intelligence is quite urgent in the setting of upper gastrointestinal cancer screening, because we still miss a big quantity of upper gastrointestinal neoplasia.